I continue to be surprised by the fact that it's Trevor Siemian in place of Jameis Winston, who tore his ACL back in Week 8 against the Buccaneers, and not Taysom Hill, the guy who was 4-1 last year as the replacement for Drew Brees when Drew was injured. And now, reportedly, Taysom Hill taking the first team reps at practice. And again, just like for the Cowboys, yesterday was Thursday for the Saints. So the hay is pretty much in the barn. If Taysom Hill was taking the first team reps at quarterback yesterday, he's the guy on Thursday night. And it just makes sense if he's healthy. He had the concussion issue that he was recovering from when Jameis Winston first got injured. Then the foot problem. They haven't been using him in the jack-of-all-trades role, and now is his chance. And he got that big contract recently, and there's a huge swing there. And it all hinges on him being the full-time quarterback. That's just the starting point. That's not the ending point. He's got no chance to make that money if he's not the starter. He's still got to play and play well and throw the ball average of 13 times a game to even begin to unlock that big money. But first step, before you're even in position to earn that, you got to be the quarterback. And we just haven't seen that. And 4 straight losses for the Saints. Now's the time to pull the ripcord. Now's the time to see what this guy can do, right?
100%. You know, I mean, one, I think his passion from people I talk to, he wants to be a quarterback. That's what he wants to do. You know, two, I think I have a hard time believing he wouldn't have been the starter. I think health did play into this. You know, the people I know a little bit around the situation, you kind of said it, he's been banged up. I think there was more than even the concussion. There were some other issues there with his body to where they didn't feel comfortable putting him out at quarterback. I got to think that's some part of it. You know, because I just look at the Trevor Siemian thing and just go, I know, you know, played well down the stretch in the Tampa Bay Buccaneers game when he came in for relief of Jameis Winston. You know, it's different, though, being the backup sometimes. There's less pressure. Nobody expects anything. As soon as you get named the starter, the week changes. And, yes, Trevor Siemian brings nothing to the football team. There's no great talent. He has no presence. I've never seen him change a facial structure at any point in his career. You know, so, yeah, they need some juice. And Taysom Hill can bring some juice to an offense that, yeah, Alvin Kamara, even if he does play, is not 100%. We know the receivers are not all that there in New Orleans. They need a guy that can throw a laser 50 yards down the field or drop back to throw a laser and it's not there, and he can scramble 50 yards down the field. You know, they need something there, and I think that's where Taysom Hill can bring some big value to their team this week, is just far as some playmaking ability, some presence, some juice on that side of the ball.
I remember before the season when we were trying to figure out who the starter was going to be for the Saints. On one hand, you have the long-term Sean Payton project in Taysom Hill, the guy that he cultivated and crafted and developed and groomed. On the other hand, you've got the reclamation project in Jameis Winston, who was cast aside by the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, even though he had a 5,000-yard passing season. And, you know, it's two different opportunities for Sean Payton to show what he can do if he can really get the most out of those guys. That's why I'm just so surprised he didn't latch on to Taysom Hill the moment Jameis Winston got injured, but it could just be that Hill wasn't sufficiently healthy, and maybe they did this contract in anticipation of what's to come. Maybe this is it.
Right.
This is his chance. This is his moment to prove that he can be the guy as of next year. He's still under contract for, really, it's 2 years, $20 million that as a practical matter he'll get, the way that the contract is structured. 2 years, $20 million.
Right.
Beyond that, is he still playing at a high level to be a jack of all trades? Is he the full-time quarterback? There's a lot of ifs there.
Yeah.
And both sides are protected in the event that it pans out. And now, let's just see what he can do.
Yeah.
Let's see what he can do down the stretch and if he can be the guy. And Sean Payton needs to know that, because either he's got to go get himself a veteran quarterback, or get himself a high-end rookie, or get himself to a place that has a franchise quarterback. And the Sunday Splash reports linking Peyton to other jobs, I just think it's a matter of time. We haven't seen it for a few years, but it was an annual thing. I keep waiting for somebody on a Sunday now, as the Saints continue to struggle, to suggest that Sean Payton may go here or there or wherever.
Yeah, I mean, listen, he's one of the best coaches in the game. He's always going to be a hot commodity. He is, and he understands how to build a football team. His team is always tough. He does, but I think you're right. Your point you make about Taysom Hill is real. I think, yeah, they got to kind of figure out, what he is and what they want to do going forward. And a big part of that is, figuring out exactly what he is at the quarterback position. And that will dictate the future a little bit there in New Orleans. Definitely. Again, we saw some good things last year. We really did. He made some, high-level throws. We know he can run the football. He makes you defend their offense a little differently because of, hey, you do got to worry about, his quarterback runs, his scrambling. That has to be an acknowledgement from the defense during the week of practice that he can make plays that way. That changes the way defense play when you got to worry about that type of stuff. Let alone he's got a big-time arm. I mean, a big-time arm. He can really sling it and stretch the field out that way to where it can also help other avenues of their offense because you're going to have to defend more of the field with Taysom Hill at quarterback than you will with Trevor Siemian. They're not out of this yet. They're not out. They got not the toughest schedule in the world, 5-6. They can beat the Cowboys this week. They got the Jets the week after that. They got the Dolphins, the Panthers, and the Falcons all on the schedule. The Buccaneers is the only game I look at and just go, okay, that'll be, of course, really tough, but we know they got their number a little. So I'm not counting out New Orleans in this playoff conversation quite yet with Sean Payton as the head coach. No way.
Amazing that they have not lost 5 in a row since before Peyton. The Jim Haslett final year 2005 when they were all over the place after Katrina. That's the last time they lost 5 in a row.
Right.
Even when the year they didn't have Sean Payton, 2012, they didn't lose 5 in a row. The year they had no defense, the years they had no defense, they still didn't lose 5 in a row. So they really need to turn this around. And they're getting the Cowboys at a perfect time, and they could begin to rebuild this a little bit. And maybe what they do at Tampa Bay coming up on Sunday Night Football in a few weeks, that'll be the moment where, and again, if we've learned nothing else, when a team is down, there's no guarantee that they're going to continue to stay down. They can turn it around. And when a team is up, there's no guarantee they're going to continue to stay up. That's one of the realities of this biggest season ever. There's more time for good teams to go bad and bad teams to go good. And for good teams to go bad and then to go good again.
Yeah.
Which is what the Saints could quite possibly do starting on Thursday night against the Cowboys. One key piece that they may get back, Alvin Kamara, who has missed 3 straight games, and he's been a huge absence for that offense. Limited participant in practice on Monday with a knee injury. If they can get him back, Chris.
Oh.
That's key because he's the offense right now.
Yes.
No Michael Thomas.
Yes.
No Drew Brees. Alvin Kamara is your offense.
100%. Yes. I mean, there's no Jared Cook. There's no Emmanuel Sanders they had last year to round out the group. You're right. I mean, there's just lack of continuity. And the one thing that they had going for them was Kamara. And, the plays he makes, he's special. He really is. And, of course, Sean Payton's amazing at getting the ball in the run game and the pass game. They need him, because of all the circumstances surrounding this team. They really do. It would be a big boost for them to have him this week. But we'll see. I mean, it sounds like it's dicey still.
Hi, I'm Mike Tirico, and thanks for watching. Make sure to hit subscribe for the latest news and highlights from NBC Sports.